Well, I've gotten to work on them a little bit more, and as it turns out, I've primed them black. I looked at the models themselves, the Ironskull's Boyz, and there's not a lot of green skin actually showing on these particular models. So I thought, you know, it's going to work out better, I think, in my favor if I prime them black instead of green, like I talked about in the last video. So I made that decision, primed them with my airbrush, did them all black. And while I was working on that, this guy with the cape, I did some special work on him, and I used white primer to kind of spray just the cape from above. I used some silly putty to kind of mask off the areas where I didn't want the spray to get on, and that worked out pretty well. Right now I've just thrown a red wash over the kind of black to white zenithal kind of fade. I'm not sure if it's working out so well. I may go back and model it up and make it look dirty, because again, being orcs, they should have some grunge going on in their, you know, battle wear. Speaking of grunge, I've gone through and dry brushed silver onto all the armor, and then gone back and done a Agrax Earthshade wash to kind of darken it, kind of filth it up a little bit, and that helps. I think that I'm going to go back and do some highlights with a brighter silver in certain areas where I want it to look like more of the paint is maybe rubbed off, or maybe where just the light's coming from above as opposed to coming from other angles. So I'm going to do it where I want to draw the eye a little bit more. Any chainmail is going to get a little bit more silver to it, a brighter silver. Most of the silver that I've used so far I think is called Ironbreaker, and the highlight silver I generally use is, it used to be called mithril silver. I don't know what it's called now, but I still got an old jar of mithril, so that's what I've been using. And then that stuff's going to basically kind of really do the highlight on all of this stuff. I've also gone through and put the green skin now on and done all of that, and I'm using a Vallejo model color Russian uniform World War II is the color that I used as the base, and then I used the camo shade color, whatever it's called, from GW. It's the kind of the camouflage olive drab wash, and did that over all the rest of the skin. And I'm going to be going back and doing highlighting and kind of upping the skin, but I need to get some other stuff finished first. I need to paint the inside of their mouths, at least the tongue needs to be kind of red, and then I need to do the teeth and all that kind of stuff. Honestly, at this point, the majority of the work has been the armor, and then, well, that one cape on that one guy. He's got a big fur on his shoulder, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet either. But yeah, otherwise it's just been doing the skin tones and then starting to do like leather straps and stuff like that. It helped me a lot to go and look at the Games Workshop website to see, because they have those 360 kind of like, you know, things that you can see of all the different models, to see whether these, like the legs are supposed to be pants or whether you're supposed to be seeing bare thigh there, which would be maybe a bit risque. As it turns out, it's supposed to be pants, so I decided to make them kind of a brown, which I thought would work well with orcs, and it kind of offsets nice from the rest of the colors. So at this point, I'm easily more than halfway done. I've had a cold for like the last several days, so I apologize, but I'm easily more than halfway done, and I just need to now start working on the weapons, because they're going to be, I've already worked, if the weapon has a grip on it, like a leather grip, I've already finished that, or at least laid down the base, done a wash. I'll probably highlight more towards the end on some of the leather grips. But the actual blades and all that kind of stuff, again, I want them to look unkempt, so there's going to be a lot of dark washes. There's going to be probably some, maybe even a little bit of rust to some degree. I need to kind of make a decision on what kind of grunging up this this cape is going to require, and just picking out some other pieces and then finishing up the bases. It's been a pretty quick project. I like painting quickly in these situations, especially when we're talking about a small group. It's just nice to, it's a quick win to be able to kind of get in there and just crank stuff out pretty quickly that way. I liked what I've done so far with the armor. The one thing I don't know yet is whether I want to make some of the armor look as if it has rusted a little bit. I don't know if I want to go through and put in rust effects and things like that on the armor. That may be a little bit too much. I may go through and put some chipping and just a little bit of like bright silver like chips, so you're getting down to the metal here and there. I don't know if I'll use a sponge for that or if I'll try to use a brush. I find when I try to use a brush to make those little chips, it doesn't work out as well as I would like. But I gotta say, trying to get a sponge in some of the spots on these guys, because they're very dynamically posed, it's gonna be difficult to get it in some of the spots that I might want to do with the sponge. So I'm not sure yet. I've got to figure that out. But yeah, I think that's going to come at the end after highlighting the armor, actually, with the bright silver color, the mithril or whatever. So yeah, pretty much like I said, easily more than halfway done. Just have to finish up now at this point the weapons, some highlighting, a little here and there with you know, highlighting some more of the pants and the leather straps and stuff like that, the skin, and then painting the bases. It's been a fun little project, but I think that I've probably done it in the quickest way that I could, and I think that it's still going to turn out and look pretty decent for how little time I've spent. And I think that for a project like this, where it's a game that I just want to have some painted models for because it's Shadespire, it's not something that I want to spend a ton of time on. I could, certainly, because there's only 4 models, but I think that the overall, when it's done, it's still going to look pretty good for as little time. It's not like I've spent like an hour. You know, I've spent a decent amount of time, but not a ton. I'm keeping track, and I'll kind of try to tell you at the end my overall time on this. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm just about, like I said, probably this week going to finish them up, and then in the next video you'll see the finished product.